How's it going, everyone? This is going to be a quick video on the split squat. I'm not going to do some in-depth guide on it like I did with the front squat, mainly because it's a little bit simpler because there's a lot less involved in doing the movement. But I think there are a few key things that maybe either aren't explained very well or people don't really understand. And it took me quite a while, personally, to really figure out how to do this to a point where I was really engaging the quad most, as opposed to like my glutes or even the rear leg. So I wanted to talk through a couple key points just to maybe help you think about it a little bit differently. You can tweak your split squats accordingly, and then hopefully empower you to really blast that front leg that's doing the work to really promote growth in the legs. So okay, first things first, the positioning of it. So everyone's gonna be a little different here because, if you're super tall, obviously you've got to kind of like widen your stance more than I do because I'm shorter, so I'm lower to the ground, my center of gravity is much different, right? Now, with that said, I think the natural tendency for us is to really stick that leg way back because we feel more stable that way, right? But the problem with that is then, if you notice, the band, instead of the band coming mostly up and down, it's way at an angle, okay? And so that's not necessarily a problem in and of itself, except for that now it really increases the strain on your arms and your shoulders to have to hold all that tension, and then you run into the risk too of arching your back to get down and to hold the band in place. So it's just kind of increasing the difficulty in the wrong part of the lift, because we're trying to work the legs, not our shoulders, right? You do overhead press for that. So what I found is that when your balance can support it, bringing your back foot a little bit closer and then really going down and focusing, thinking with your head about keeping almost 90% of your weight on this foot, and this back one is barely doing anything. Like I could almost do it with one leg, okay? This back one is there just for a little bit of stability, just so I don't topple over, but it's not really doing much. So if you can control your body enough to keep the focus on the front foot and just having that back one basically be about 10% of your weight on it, and it's mostly just there like a kickstand on a bike, just so you don't shift over, you can really then have the bar and the band almost completely straight up and down, and as you go down slowly, you can almost touch the ground with that back knee, and this thigh right now is working really hard. And then as you come back up, don't lock out, just right about to there. And you'll notice that by that little shift of just moving, see what happens. When I bring that back foot forward, my position, I can really target that front leg a little bit more. So here I'm going to do it with the band. And I'm just using a little split squat plate here. Not required, you don't have to have this. I just kind of like doing it with my shoes on. So this helps me, not damage my bands, but you can go barefoot with just the band. It doesn't really change anything. So to get in position, I still drop down just like I do for a regular front squat. I've noticed too with squats, if I put the hook opening towards me, it helps during the exercise to keep the band more aligned on my shoulders, and it doesn't tend to want to roll off as much. Okay, it's a lot harder for it to flip off my shoulders down to my biceps. So I think that's a little tweak too. Okay, but so from this position, when I stand up, I do a little bit explosively, but deep breath to engage my core just like on front squat. I stand up, okay? And now I'm just gonna move my foot just a little. So I think most people's tendency is to do this, okay? And so like I said, like my thigh is not really working anymore because my back leg is having to do so much work, okay? But if I move it forward and I can focus now on just my front foot, maintaining the strength, you go down real slow and push right up and see the bar path is pretty much straight up and down. So if I move my foot back too far, notice the bar path. My leg isn't doing as much work. If I bring it in and I can balance and keep my weight over my front foot, boom, it's a lot harder. You'll really feel it in that front leg, okay? So that's like the rapid, split squat guide. I think bringing that back leg in is the key for most people to more engage the front leg, keeps the bar path better, and if you're struggling with your torso pulling forward too much, that will help a lot because you'll be more loaded as a unit, and so that your leg is able to focus on taking the force. This is just my personal observation. So again, you have to balance this with your skill level, your comfort level, and your ability to concentrate on controlling the different parts of your body. Because if you pull your front foot in too far and then you're just all over the place, one, it's not safe, but two, you're probably not going to be able to engage your thigh anyway. So you might be better off still keeping a little bit further back for more stability so that you can do more of a squat. And as you get more comfortable, pull it in. And you'll notice too, like my feet are almost directly in line. If you're really struggling with the balance, widen your stance some, and that helps keep a little bit more balance for your body. And then as you improve, you can make them a little bit more parallel. Okay, I don't do it like perfectly parallel, but mostly in line. It's like if you bisected my body, my legs would be evenly across on each side, like that. It adds to the instability of it, so it forces the leg to work harder. Couple little tips, that's it. If you have a lot of questions about this and want me to explain in greater detail, I'm happy to do so. I don't think it's overly a hard lift in terms of mechanics. I think the front squat is way harder, but this is super effective. You see how hard I'm breathing, I barely did anything. It's really effective, it's really worth doing, and if you can handle the balance, I think you can get a way better activation in your quads, each leg, than doing a front squat. So take care, stay safe.